What did the lady say? Ladies and gentlemen, Maggie Smith. My word, that was a splendid scene, wasn't it? Hey?
I'm sorry that you couldn't see Alec, but I understand it's because it's on cinema.
Yes, Alec McGowan, who's your co-star in the film,
yes.
We had to show one or the other. And as you're the guest and not Alec, well, then we thought it would be right.
I know.
You also had the best line, actually, as well. Well, I mentioned there, actually, Maggie, that in fact you've been nominated for an Oscar for that performance.
Yes.
What exactly does that mean to you when you hear that you've been nominated? I mean, are you pleased? Or?
Well, yes, I'm very, very pleased in this because I was very much last minute in the film.
Yes, because Catherine Hepburn was...
Yes, exactly, and for reasons that I don't think are clear to anybody except for Miss Hepburn, obviously, and Mr. Cuco on the powers that be in MGM. I don't really know what happened. But I am delighted because there were many struggles in the film, the fact of the age and the makeup and many, many things. And also I'm very pleased for Bobby Fryer, who in actual fact produced
Gene Brody, right.
and who really fought tooth and nail for me to play the part.
Do you think
this is also a film of his, so I'm very glad for him.
Do you think you've got a chance?
I honestly don't think so this time.
Don't you? Why not?
I didn't before. I just don't think so this time.
No.
I really, really don't.
No. Will you be going to the ceremony?
Well, no, I can't. I'll be working.
Of course you're
here,
working, you're doing the private licensing, but in
for
fact...
which I'm deeply relieved, because
Really?
I have been there. I was there when we were playing in Los Angeles, and I had to present an award to, in actual fact, John Mills.
Yes.
Won it, and it is the most terrifying experience ever.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's probably because it's the one award in the world that people really do not know. They just do not know, and there is something so naked and unkind. The cameras go in on all the people who are likely to get it, and the hope and in their faces, and when it goes, you know, you just...
And they've all got those stitched-on smiles,
well,
haven't they?
You know, they obviously want it so desperately, and of course there it does mean much more than it does to us here. An Oscar is a tremendous, tremendous award to get, really.
But did it mean anything for you, though, in real terms, Maggie, when you won it for Gene Brody? I mean, in terms of work, I mean, did all of a sudden people start ringing you up?
No, there is a kind of legend which has happened since the Oscars. They always sort of say that you don't work very much after you get one. I don't understand why. I think it goes back to the fact that if you won an Oscar in the old days, let us say, your salary immediately jumped enormously, and of course that cannot happen now. It's unrealistic. So the money thing doesn't come into it. But there is this odd thing that you don't get offered work because of an Oscar.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
What do you do with a statuette? Do you put it on the sideboard at home or something?
And mine is actually holding a door open.
Really?
Yes. And it's very friendly, actually. It's extremely useful for it.
Gold? Is it gold?
No, it's not gold. It's extremely heavy, and no doubt very useful if intruders come in.
Perhaps you should introduce Archie to her Oscar. The door open. Can I talk a bit about acting now and style? I had Robert Helpman on the programme last week, Maggie, and he was saying that when he was learning about theatre, he went to watch all the great actresses like Edith Evans, and came to the conclusion that the great thing that they had was a style which was mainly a voice. Is that something that you would agree with? That they did things with their voices that other people were unable to do?
I'm not quite... No, I don't think that is quite true. I think to a certain extent. I think it has more to do with the phrasing of things and the way you can turn certain lines.
You mean say certain lines in different ways and give it different meaning?
Yes, phrasing or stressing, various things like that.
Is there an example?
I can't believe that it is all in a voice.
No.
I do hope not, because mine isn't frightfully good. As you just said, it sounded like a strangled, what was it?
A strangulated dove, but I didn't say that.
Dove?
Dove.
Oh, I thought you said duck.
No.
Dove is infinitely better. I should relax somewhat.
Can you give an example of the way that you can, by using your voice and inflection, change the sense, the meaning of something?
It's frightfully difficult to do, and it's one of those curious things that if you do get a laugh on a certain line, which is unexpected. I mean, I can only talk about laughs because that is an immediate thing. I've done it once in a play, a coward play, not the one I'm in, because the moment you say something is funny, it's gossamer, it's gone,
yes,
really.
Yes.
I had one line which was very small and not really very funny, and I had to say at a breakfast, this haddock is disgusting. And it is not funny. I mean, nobody has laughed. But the whole situation was such that when I said it, I suppose I summed up the fact that the entire weekend was horrendous. Everything was ghastly, and
yes.
the haddock was just the final thing. And it summed the whole thing up in one, and the audience roared with laughter. But unfortunately, the critics mentioned it. And after that, it never, ever got a laugh.
Yes. Yeah.
And I often wonder, and I don't really know, I would love to know whether Dame Edith, in fact, went on getting a laugh on her handbag, Mr. Worthing, you know.
Yes,
one wonders, because the line is always in your mind when
yes.
you think of the play.
Yes.
And of Dame Edith, and I often wonder if it went on being as funny and, you know, once it had been
yeah, I know.
realised.
She said something interesting on this programme, actually, Maggie, which is relevant to that. She said that if she ever got a line she didn't understand, she said it as if it were improper.
Yes, well, exactly, and I have followed that.
You have?
Yes,
you
I
have.
remember her saying that
Yes,
sometime. I think.
and it's something that you think
yes,
is
say it if it's slightly rude.
yes.
But you've understood, because you're a great actress, I've always noticed that when you've got an audience, you're aware of there's some sort of thing between you and them, which makes it very much harder to act on television or in a film than in a theatre.
It's certainly different, and it is. It's very much more connected with comedy than anything else. This rapport,
It's lovely.
and what I think audiences don't fully understand is how much work they do for you.
Yes.
Without a good audience, you are absolutely sunk.
Yes, right.
I mean, they do so much. It's quite extraordinary. They lighten your load and your spirits.
Yes.
And you find the whole evening it's what you said about jokes. One cannot live without jokes.
Oh, they're most important.
It makes you fond of people. You become fond of the audience. They become fond of you, and everything is easier.
You, in fact, made your name, really, as a revue artist, didn't you,
Yes,
Maggie?
I started it.
Yeah. Did you enjoy doing revue?
Well, it's a mixture, really. I didn't really want to do it. It was just one of those things that happened.
Yes.
I was at Oxford. I lived in Oxford. And I went to a drama school that started there, and I did so many things, you know, around the universities there. You know, if you were kind of clever enough and, I suppose, quick enough, you could almost do a weekly rep, because all the colleges were doing different productions at different times.
Right.
And we, in actual fact, used to go up to Edinburgh and were the first of the fringe shows up there. With, you know, people like Ned Sherrin, who are
Yes.
now doing different things.
Yes, but that was right at the beginning of the
Yes.
whole sort of thing. How difficult was it, though, moving from, making the transition from revue to legitimate theatre?
Well, it didn't strike me as very difficult. The awful thing is, I don't know quite how to explain it, but things get more and more difficult as you go on. When you start in the theatre, and I suppose really when you start with anything, you have a kind of extraordinary conceit. It doesn't really enter your mind that it is going to be as difficult as it is. It's the more you do, the more you realise that well, about my profession anyway, that it is an extremely difficult one.
Yeah.
But when you start, you are blind to the problems. You just sort of wade in and have a feeling that if you know the words and don't bump into the furniture, as Noel would say, you're going to be all right. But so, I mean, it wasn't an enormous transition.
I mean, what you're saying really is that's the difference between being stage-struck and a practical professional, isn't it?
Yes, well, I mean Pamela Brown